Battle Pack Epic Dawn was released back on May 28, 2012. While most tournaments are played using constructed decks from the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Card pool, during this time, Konami wanted to try something a little different. Battle Pack Epic Dawn provided competitors with a card pool of over 200 different cards, allowing them to build a deck just from a handful of 5-card packs. YCS Sheffield in 2012 was the first event to implement this sealed format, and Konami would continue to experiment between constructed, sealed, and even a hybrid of the two, resulting in YCS San Diego 2013. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want 5% off any singles or sealed product, click the affiliate links in the description and use code CIMOOOOO5. And clicking the TCG Player affiliate link before you shop helps support us to provide you with more amazing content.
Geez, I just cannot seem to win an episode lately. What is going on? Maybe giving Alex Atlantean for 5 episodes in a row was a bad idea. Well, he won't be playing it this episode because today we are doing something a little bit different. Now, the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't just a history of every constructed deck that was continuously playable over Yu-Gi-Oh's very long lifespan, it's also a history of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was played at YCSs. And for select YCSs in 2012, 13, and 14, that included a limited element. Now, Magic the Gathering's tournament structure at high-level tournaments does include several rounds of constructed, usually something like standard, and several rounds of limited play, something like draft. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tinkered for a couple of years with a similar concept. In fact, YCS San Diego included several rounds at the start of the tournament of limited play. Now, you might be wondering how on earth Yu-Gi-Oh!, a game full of xenophobic archetypes, possibly supported a limited format. The battle packs are a series of sets that are designed with limited play in mind. They encompass a significant amount of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s powerful cards historically, a significant amount of really powerful removal options, and fun tribute stuff as well. Battle Pack Epic Dawn is the first of 3 battle packs, and it is designed to be played in a sealed format. This means that you open 10 packs of Battle Pack Epic Dawn and make a 30-card deck with the cards that are included inside these packs. In order to ensure that you are able to do so, this pack is divided into 4 subgroups, which each represent different things. Powerful spell traps, powerful non-tribute monsters, powerful tribute monsters, and each individual card slot has an opportunity to be from one of those little buckets. Therefore, you're always going to pull a deck that at least has some sort of consistent strategy and aren't saddled with a pool full of 8-star do-nothings. Now, this draft element also impacted the quality of constructed decks during this period. If you're a really, really good limited player, you only really have to win 1 or 2 constructed matches to guarantee a slot in Top Cut, and as a result, you might be drawn to some super powerful, slightly inconsistent, easy to board against options that are guaranteed wins something like 40 to 60% of the time. We'll be taking a look at one of those shortly after this episode, but for now, we're going to simulate a sealed Battle Pack draft by opening some packs. 10 packs of Battle Pack Epic Dawn, starting now.
You know, I never thought I'd be digitally cracking some packs with Mr. MBT, but here we are. We're talking about a point in Yu-Gi-Oh's history that a lot of people may not be too familiar with, and that is the fact that sealed and draft play at one point was a part of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And so for YCS San Diego in 2013, the first day 1 of the entire event was actually played sealed. You had to open 10 packs of Battle Pack Epic Dawn, build a 30-card deck, and then if you made it all the way through day 1 with that deck, you got to play your regular advanced constructed deck for day 2, and that's just crazy, right? I don't think they ever did it again after that. If they did, it was maybe like one other YCS, but they actually start exploring drafting a little bit later on, and so I don't think it'd be the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! If we didn't do this. So this is exciting. We get to actually play sealed in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess competitive, if you want to call it for the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! But we're going to be cracking 10 packs, building a deck, and taking on Joseph. This feels like my old school We Dueled series of videos in a way.
God, I feel like I'm playing progression. All right, let's see what we got. Wow. And just out of the gate, some really good stuff. Oh my goodness. So Air Knight Parshath, of course, an extremely powerful card. Zephyros the Elite and Treeborn Frog, good special summons. That Archfiend Soldier isn't terrible either. Wow, and another series of good ones. Mobius the Frost Monarch, extremely powerful. Witch of the Black Forest. Level Eater is okay. And Skill Successor is a really good battle trap. Wow, and the hits keep coming. The second Treeborn Frog, the Vampire Lord, the Magic Cylinder. Whoa! And that's decent. That seems like an okay card. Okay, finally some stinkers. Buster Blader is not good. Monster Gate is probably not good, and Dark Magician of Chaos was pre-errata'd, but still is probably not worth playing. Wow. I mean, I'm certainly playing the Pot of Greed and the Bait Doll, and really important that we picked up an Xyz. You can play any number of Xyz that you pull in your pool. Wind-Up Zenmaester is at least a playable 4. I mean, I'll always take removal. Prideful Roar, a playoff staple. Ooh, Leviathan Dragon's good, but I don't know if I want to play very many 3s. I've got the playset of Archfiend Soldier, which is nice. Spell Shield type 8 maybe comes in? Oh, Trooper's amazing. Wait! Is that Insect Knight? Huh. To think I was about to ignore his battle prowess. And the second Snatch Deal, so big. So we've got a decent pool here. We didn't pull really as many tribute monsters as I would have hoped. I think the Mobius, the Vampire Lords, and probably the Parshath will all find a home. The Prideful Roar is good. The Bait Dolls are good. Important to have Spell Trap removal in this format. The Double Snatch Deal obviously is insane. I'm considering if I want to play something like the Needle Ceiling or not. But we'll jump into the games and see what happens.
Let's go ahead and open pack number 1, see what we're going to be working with, because the cards in these packs are cracked. And right off the bat, that is the case. Doom Caliber Knight is a huge pull. Vampire Lord's pretty decent as well. Liberty at last, I actually think, is a decent form of removal. And so our first pack's looking pretty nice. Pack number 2 is not looking too bad either. Treeborn Frog's a card that we can constantly recur to the field for our tribute monsters. Dark Dust Spirit is sort of a board wipe, even though it does bounce back to our hand. Goblin Attack Force is just a big beater, and in a format like this, that is probably good enough. We have 2 other cards here, Dark World Shackles and Noisy Gnat. This card makes it so the equipped monster cannot attack. Its attack and defense become 100. During each of your standby phases, with 500 damage to the controller of the equipped monster. So that's not too bad. And Noisy Gnat says you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to target a face-up monster on the field. Increase that target's level by 1 until the end phase. Not as great, but we might play the Shackles for sure. Third pack's not looking too hot. Different Dimension Gate is removal, so we'll probably play it. Autonomous Action Unit is a Monster Reborn at 1,500 life points out of Joseph's graveyard. And Bait Doll is sort of bait, but it is kind of removal. And there are some good traps in this set, so I think we might play this because it's like a pseudo MST. Oh, that is a huge hit. Change of Heart. How is this legal? That's insane. We also have Cybernetic Magician, which is okay as well. I think a Wind-Up Soldier is an okay card here. Let me double check. 1,800. During your main phase, increase this card level by 1 and attack by 400. Can only be used once. So this can go up to 22. That's pretty good. And we get Pot of Greed! Joseph, you are so fucked. Get ready, buddy. We've got Pot of Greed, Dark Bride, Blizzard Dragon's okay. Chainsaw Insect is actually huge. I don't know if I want Joseph drawing cards, though. I'm not sure if Skill Drain is in here, but if it is, that would be nuts. Wow, there's actually a lot of good stuff in this pack. Nightmare Wheel, Ego Boost. I think Tragodia is probably insane in a format like this, because this card can get massive, and you just get to special summon it. You don't have to, like, tribute it out. Even Skill Successor might actually be playable. Oh, and this pack is insane as well. Enemy Controller, Cylinder, Dekoichi. Hyper Hammerhead is a good form of removal. Foxfire's like, okay, that might be on the short list. But, I mean, we're looking pretty good with only a few packs to go. And it just keeps getting better. Fisher, Dekoichi again. Swords. I mean, Swords may not even have an out in this format, or if it does, it's very few and far between. Oh my god. Only 2 packs left of this. Like, I don't know if I can take this. Let's open the second to last. Call of the Haunted! We have more Graveyard Revival. The rest of this pack is okay. We'll take a closer look at it once we have our pool finished here. Last pack. Show me some good stuff. Show me a big set. That was a Jinzo! There's a fucking Jinzo in here! Oh my god, we have to play that for sure. Big Bang Shot might be okay. A second Wind-Up Soldier is pretty good as well. I'll have to take a look at Hedgeguard and Damage Gate, but man, these pulls look insane. Joseph, I am so sorry, buddy. You are so fucked. Let's get to building.
So after some deliberation, this is the 45 that I'm going to be bringing to today's match, and it looks really good. I think my monster pool is a little below average, but my spells and traps are insane. They are unbelievable, out of this world, no two ways about it. 2 Snatch Steal, 1 Pot of Greed is going to win me a lot of games. Now, I will say, because the battle pack is so large, it's very difficult to get a good sense of what you should be metagaming around. In Magic the Gathering limited formats, for example, you see a much larger percentage of the card pool. That's not so here. And individually powerful cards like Snatch Steal have the capacity to take over the game, or not show up at all, depending on what your opponent pulled. We were very lucky in that we found some really good spell traps, some decent removal, and also cards in the extra deck, which is not guaranteed. We were a little unlucky in that our pulls pull us towards Monarch, but we lacked any of the really good single tribute monsters in the game. We've got Air Knight Parshath, which is a really strong card historically, but in this format there's so many battle traps that it's unlikely this is going to connect any consistent amount of the time, and even some of these single summon monsters like Goblin Attack Force can get over it. We got Mobius, which is unquestionably extremely strong, but outside of that, we've only got Vampire Lord to our name. This card is good in certain formats. Certainly there are even historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats named after how powerful this was, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I just can't help but look at a spell trap lineup that includes so many combat tricks and think that this card is kind of a sitting duck. Aside from that, the rest of our deck does look amazing. We've got 3 Archfiend Soldier, pretty good beater, an Insect Knight, oh my god, imagine ignoring this card's unmatched battle prowess, 1 Card Trooper. This card actually is a bit of a liability in a low deck count format. You can mill some of your really powerful stuff, but we're looking to mill Treeborn Frog. We've got a Fabled Ashen Veil. This is why I don't feel particularly bad playing both copies of the Treeborn Frog. We can just pitch it for Ashen Veil. Night Assailant, of course, is removal. I think Shield Warrior is probably the 31st card, but I've included it here anyway. It can potentially protect a monster, which allows you to summon a Monarch, and I think that a lot of these games are going to be very swingy. You can't put stuff like Snatch Steal in the format and not expect that there will be a lot of damage dealt on very few turns. So for that reason, I want to ensure that I don't get OTK'd out of nowhere, and this is a decent tool at doing that. Tang Nasir is kind of a trick. When you first read it, you think, oh, that's not a very good card, but in reality, the tokens can be tributed. It's kind of just Dandelion. We've got 2 Witch of the Black Forest, which searches mostly Mobius, 2 Treeborn Frog, a copy of Bait Doll. Spell trap removal is few and far between, so we are playing what we have to. Thanks Hardleg for showing me the power of this card. Big Bang Shot. This is also sort of removal. If we can get this off the field, maybe in games 2 or 3 with these Zephyroses in our board, we can banish our opponent's monsters. Burden of the Mighty I think is going to be good because a significant amount of our games are going to come down to creature combat. Pot of Greed, Snatch Steal, Changing Destiny, the playoff staple, makes another appearance here. This is sort of removal because it traps the monster that you select in defense position permanently. Really good in a deck with Parshath. We've got double Magic Cylinder I expect to steal some games. Prideful Roar is the best combat trick in the universe because it happens in damage calculation. You are always winning the engage, and it doesn't increase by a set amount. It increases by enough. I mean, just an unbelievable card. Skill Successor, another really good card. It's 2 combat tricks. Spell Shield type 8, I'm not all the way sold on. We're not playing too many spells, and we want to activate a lot of them as soon as we find them, so that second effect is likely not online frequently. But the first effect, I think, is online enough that I want to be playing it. With Snatch Steal in the format, I need to have some sort of out to it. In the side deck, we've got Double Zephyros the Elite. I'm having a tough time determining if this card is good or not. In a Monarch strategy, it's nice to have free bodies, and this is a special summon. The downside is I don't think there's many scenarios in which we'll have a face-up card that is not exactly a monster. And while there's some funny tricks we can do with that, like flipping up a Night Assailant and then returning it to the hand for an additional removal spell, the only real synergy we have is the Big Bang Shot, which is good, but probably not worth building around. Dark Magician of Chaos, I might be really undervaluing. I'm not playing it because it's a 2 tribute monster and that's really difficult, but our deck might be good enough at getting 2 monsters on field. Something like a Tang Nisir does it alone, or a Treeborn Frog plus any other monster. I'll have to assess in games 2 and 3 if I think that Cimo's deck is too aggro. If it is, we'll leave this card on the board. If it's not, we'll need it to recycle something like a Pot of Greed or a Snatch Steal. Goblin Attack Force is a decent attacker. Depends on how much creature combat's going to matter, I think. Level Eater, another scenario where I feel like if we feel we need more tribute fodder, this is a good card. Notorious Strawberry just sucks, as does Thebian Nightmare. Charcoal and Apache, same deal. 2100 defense actually doesn't put up much of a defense against anything relevant. If Cimo's sending a lot of cards, we'll play Bait Doll, but Bait Doll actually has some bad synergies in this format. A lot of the combat tricks like Ego Boost are spell cards, and for that reason, Bait Doll does less than nothing against them. I'll have to get a sense of what Alex's spell trap lineup looks like before I commit to a second copy of this card. Different Dimension Gate is actually a decent piece of removal, and I'll probably be boarding this in if Cimo's playing anything remotely aggro. Monster Gate is not going to be played. Dark Bribe, Interdimensional Matter Transporter, probably not inclusions, and Needle Sealing, if he's doing swarmy stuff, is going to be very good. We can like set a Tang Nieser and fire this off, or use the tokens it leaves behind to fulfill the requirement. And the extra, I am very blessed to have two really good cards. Zen Maester is a great way to convert any of our 4s on field into something that actually matters. And Leviathan Dragon, we theoretically can make by using something like a Shield Warrior and a Spent Knight Assailant, or maybe a Tang Nieser that our opponent is refusing to walk into. So, I'm feeling pretty good about our pulls, really good about our chances. I hope that Alex didn't pull Double Snatch Deal as well.
All right, so here is our 30 card deck that we are going to be bringing to today's episode of History of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gotta say, it's a lot different when you have to build for 30 than you do for 40, and I'm excited to see how this one's gonna play out, because Joseph's pulls could be drastically different from mine. He could be going in a completely opposite direction, so let's go ahead and do the card by card. First up, we have a copy of Ape Fighter. This card, when it destroys a monster by battle, gains 300 attack, but if it doesn't attack in a turn, it basically resets all of its attack down to 0 from those gains. So it'll just go back down to 19, which is still fine. This card seems pretty good. One Blizzard Dragon is nice because we can target an opponent's monster. It can't change its battle position or attack until the end of their next turn, so being able to stall out for a bit if we have to is nice. Two Dekoichi, very happy to see this. It's not the greatest attacker, but the fact that we get to see more cards is fantastic. We can maybe flip this and then sack it for something like a Jinzo. One Doomcal, 1900 body, and it negates effects. What more could you ask for? I have Goblin Attack Force in here. This is sort of just like a removal card in my eyes, where if there's something big that I can't really take care of, Goblin Attack Force should be able to do the trick. One copy of Hedgeguard. This thing has 2100 defense, which is pretty large, but also it has this effect that we could actually protect our monster from being destroyed by battle potentially, and that could come up depending on the circumstances. We'll see how it goes. We also have a Hyper Hammerhead. This card's neat because at the end of the damage step, if an opponent's monster that battled this card is not destroyed, return that opponent's monster to the hand. That works if the monster's in attack or defense, which means this card can just bounce some annoying threats back to hand. Of course, we have our one Jinzo because it's probably the best card that we pulled, and one Tragodia, which I think is definitely an all-star in this set as well. We'll just have to see if that's the case. Then we have a Voltic Kong. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, send a card from the top of their deck to the grave for each face-up light monster you control. So we don't have too many lights. I actually don't think we have any other lights besides him, but he's 1800, so he's fine. Two Wind-Up Soldier can actually make itself 2200 until the end phase. You can only use that effect once, but honestly, just to be able to get over something big without having to like have a massive downside like Goblin Attack Force, I think is all right. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, Autonomous Action Unit is Monster Reborn from our opponent's graveyard at the cost of 1500 life points. Bait Doll, you know, looking at the trap lineup, we can force a lot of things to not have proper activation timing, so I think Bait Doll might be pretty nice. Change of Heart, Dark World Shackles for any of Joseph's monsters that are a problem. Different Dimension Gate is a form of removal that is very hard to access in this set, it seems, when it actually comes to banishing, and so I really only want to use this as a last resort. I mean, if anything, if like Hedgeguard is on the field, we can just different Dimension Gate this and like one other big thing, so I'm hoping that that's good enough. Ego Boost is a battle trick. Battle tricks are some of the best forms of removal in this set that we have, you know, the most easy access to, and so just having as many of these as possible seems pretty good. Enemy Controller is a standout card. Fisher is actual removal. Pot of Greed, still can't believe we got this, and Swords. And then for the traps, Call the Haunted. Damage Gate actually lets us special summon something from the graveyard if we take a significant amount of damage, so that's just a Monster Reborn. Not going to complain about that. Then we have Liberty at Last. When a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, target two face-up monsters on the field, shuffle those targets into the deck. That is a huge blowout card, and we definitely have to look out for this in Joseph's pool as well. Magic Cylinder can negate an attack and deal a significant amount of damage. Nightmare Wheel stops monsters from attacking and will constantly burn Joseph. So similar to Dark World Shackles, but in a trap. And two Skill Successor. Now this card's neat because it gives a monster 400 attack until the end phase, but then during our turn, except the turn we use this, we can target a monster and give it 800 attack. So it's sort of like a double U pseudo removal type of trap, and I think that could actually be pretty good, especially for trying to win a lot of combat. I pretty much decided to play almost every spell and trap I opened in my 30 card deck, except for Big Bang Shot and Dark Bribe. This may seem weird, but Big Bang Shot, I think stuff like Skill Successor and Ego Boost are slightly better, just because it gives more attack. Big Bang Shot sticks around, I guess you could argue, but I don't know. I feel like it also has a downside that could be pretty detrimental. And then Dark Bribe is something I'm considering bringing in games 2 and 3, because stopping something like a change of heart or just like a massive card that might swing the pace of the game, even though Joseph would get to draw a card off of it, it may be worth it because our pool, while it is actually fairly decent, he's not going to necessarily draw the best card in his deck. At least I hope not. So I'm not too sure about this one, but we'll see how the game goes. And then for the rest of the side deck, you are allowed to play every other card you pulled in your side. Now, unfortunately, Dueling Book doesn't allow us to have more than 15 cards, so I just took out 5 that I'm most likely not going to play, but these are the remaining. So King Shark, if it would be destroyed by an effect that doesn't target, it's not destroyed. So I think that's like fine, like if there's like Fisher or something like that, but it's 1700. It's not that great. Elector has a very strange condition that maybe isn't that hard to achieve, but if it was just 2 monsters, I would probably play it. Chainsaw Insect is great, but giving Joseph more cards is what I'm afraid of. I'm not super keen on this. That's why I'd rather play like Goblin Attack Force over this. Cybernetic Magician's like okay, but it's not spectacular. Dark Dust Spirit's actually pretty good, but I'm afraid of the loss in tempo more than anything. I think if I had Treeborn Frog, I'd feel a little bit better about playing this. Dark Ruler Hades is like okay, but again, there's a lot of stuff that can just very easily die in battle, and so committing to a Tribute Summon just doesn't seem that ideal unless it's a big blowout card like Jinzo. Foxfire is okay. This is a good different Dimension Gate target, and basically it'll just keep soaking attacks after we take a big hit the first time around, but again, not like the greatest card, at least in my eyes. Protops just gets 100 attack for each monster our opponent controls. Like, that's fine. Tricky, you can summon it by discarding a card. Vampire Lord seems really good, but again, when you see all the different cards that manipulate attack points, Vampire Lord's only 2,000, and its biggest vulnerability is battle, so I actually don't think this card is too good. And then 2 Wind Up Warrior, I didn't get any rank 5s or anything, so I would probably play this if I did, but just giving it up to 1,800 attack, and then it's 1,800 defense, so like, it's fine. I just don't think it's that great. So guys, I can't wait to see what Joseph's up to, because this is going to be a fun ass episode. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not make you wait any longer. It's time to duel. Joseph, I am unreasonably excited for this episode. Like, we're playing sealed Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's actually historically accurate with the timeline. Like, this is so cool.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. I think I got this one. That's my gauge. I feel like I'm doing progression. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, this is how people played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh for a weird 1.5 year long period where Konami was taking itself seriously as a tournament organizer.
One of my friends, when I was asking about some stuff to check about like historical accuracy, because they used to play back then, they were like, I don't know how the fuck Yu-Gi-Oh survived when they were playing sealed at YCS and then draft in Top Cut. Like, they were trying to emulate Magic, I guess, at the time, but I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Well, they do it in the Pro Tour. I'm sure that it'll work for our, card game where everything is part of an archetype.
Yeah, of course. Maybe if they had this idea back in like 2004 when everything wasn't part of an archetype, or even if it wasn't like xenophobic to working with every other archetype. But that's why you see this mishmash of cards that is about to be before you. But I just want to get into it, buddy. I can't wait to see how this is going to go. Shout out to Patreon. It is Sagittay1003. Thank you for the support. Got the hands up, buddy?
I do.
Odd.
It was even. I picked 30.
Fuck.
Because I have 30 cards in my deck.
Excellent. I just thought that you were an odd fellow, so that's why I picked odd.
Ooh, wow. What do I actually pick here? I think I maybe want the extra card.
Ooh, you've got 2 cards in your extra deck over there. Interesting.
Indeed, I do. I'll tell you right now, I can only summon one of them. All right, I'm going to go first.
Excellent.
Regardless, I think.
I'll let you know that I did not pull a single extra deck cards, and I'm not playing any of them.
That's good news.
Okay.
All right, stand by main. Big shock. I'm just going to set one and pass.
Aren't you going to draw, buddy?
Oh, you do get to draw? Then what was I talking about?
I was about to say, I don't feel like you would. Is that changing anything?
Yeah, no, that doesn't change anything.
Okay, fine. I'll draw then. Main one. Well, shit. I will set one as well.
Yep.
And I will set one, and I'll throw it to you.
Stand by main.
Sure.
I'm just going to go for Insect Knight. Ignore its battle prowess at your own risk. I'll go to combat here, and I'll try to attack.
This is fine. It's my Dekoichi, so I'll draw one.
Sure. All right, back to you, buddy.
Okay. I'll go ahead and draw. Stand by main. This is a bit weird. Interesting, you opted not to flip what you had set. So it's not Dekoichi. It's probably just some, like, weird defender card. I don't think I'm in a big rush as of yet. So I think I'm just going to pass.
That's strange. Stand by me.
Sure.
I'll normal Card Trooper.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm going to go for it.
Okay. Which?
Ah, nothing.
Prideful Roar, Fabled Ashendale. Okay.
I'm going to flip summon Tang Nasir of the Nordic Beasts.
So that you get some more Nordics when it's killed in battle. I see.
It does. I'll go to combat here.
Sure.
I will try 12.
I'm going to take the 12, and I'm going to summon Trag.
Oh, that's a big fucking trag.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
So this is
3K.
Wow. Well, I guess I will go to main 2. Okay. I'm going to Snatch Steal your Trag.
Oh, God. Yeah?
I'm going to activate the effect targeting my Witch of the Black Forest.
Make it a 4. Gonna overlay.
I will. Behold my most powerful monster. It's just Zenmeister. Back to...
Interesting. I'll draw. That was very nice of you to take my Trag.
Trag's crazy in this format, buddy.
I'm happy you wasted Snatch Steal on it. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of options.
All right. I'm going to fire Swords.
Swords is fine.
Then I'm going to set 1 and set 1. I'll throw it to you.
Well, I can't believe you pulled Sword. That's so nuts in this format.
Yeah, Swords is crazy.
I'm going to swap my monsters to defense and pass back to you.
Makes sense. That's turn 1 on Swords. I'll draw. Almost Zenmeister. He's fucking massive.
He's a big boy. He's a huge man.
He's
Contests
massive.
a monarch.
Let's run out Voltic Kong. I'm going to go to battle. I'm going to hit into this Tengrisneer. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I'll get my tokens.
Sure, you can do that. I'll just pass.
Stand by main. Back to you.
Okay, turn 2 on Swords. It's buying us some good time. Main 1. I'll go battle again. I'll hit one of the tokens.
That's fine.
And I will throw it to you.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. I don't know. Go for it.
Swords has expired.
Miserable
I'll
card.
draw.
Awful.
That's not bad. Okay. First, I'm going to fire Bait Doll on your back row.
Yeah, I figured you were probably holding some number of these. It is Cylinder.
Okay, so Cylinder will get destroyed. This gets shuffled into my deck, actually.
Yep.
Just kind of sick. All right, I'll just go to battle. I'll put Kong into your set. Or not your set, excuse me, your token.
Yeah, that's fine.
Second main, I'll set 1, and we'll throw it to you.
Okay, I am going to... What is your set card? If it was Dekoichi, you would have activated it. I'm going to go Knight Assailant here, targeting your set monster.
Yeah, it was Hedgeguard.
Wow. Sure. I'm going to send... Ooh, how do I want to do this? This is hard. I'm going to switch the Card Trooper to attack. I'll activate the effect.
Sure.
There he is.
Oh, there goes...
Fuck.
Wow.
That was
okay.
3 good ones. I did get the Treeborn, though. I'll go to combat. I'll try and get in with the Trooper.
This is fine. So I'm going to take 100 here.
Yep.
And then I'm going to activate Liberty at last.
Sure.
I'm going to shuffle back your Zen mains and your Card Trooper.
That's annoying. We'll get in for 200.
Sure, I'll take the 2. That's fine.
Second main, I will set 1. I think I'm going back to you.
Not super thrilled about you having Treeborn now. I don't know if there's much I can do about it. You've also got quite a hand over there, so I imagine you either have a bunch of reactive stuff of your own, or you just have a handful of monsters and you don't have much else you can really do.
Or maybe I don't want to extend into removal.
I'm gonna try... I'm gonna run out Ape Fighter. Go to battle, I'm gonna hit Knight Assailant.
That's fine. I'll take 17 here.
17. And then my Ape Fighter goes up to 22. And I think I'm comfortable passing there.
I'm going to go grab my Frog. I'm going to flip summon Tang Nasir here.
Got another one of these, sure.
I'm going to normal Shield Warrior.
During damage calc, you can banish this card. Oh, you're overlaying. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Leviathan.
Holy shit, that's a big one. Yeah.
I'll detach Shield Warrior, go to combat, and try to attack here.
I will Magic Cylinder this.
I'll take 25.
Yep.
Second main, I'm going to set 1 card. Back to you.
Okay. We'll draw. Go to main 1. I'm going to Change of Heart Leviathan.
Sure.
I will run out Goblin Attack Force.
Jesus Christ. Yep.
Battle. Ape Fighter in.
I will Shield Warrior here.
That's what I get for not reading the rest of Shield Warrior. Fantastic. That's pretty bad. Yup. Second main, I'll set 1. Then I'm going to Dark World Shackles Leviathan.
That's fine.
And then end phase, you get this back.
And Ape Fighter
And this goes back down to
19.
19. Correct.
Stand by me. I am going to bait doll the... Let's go for the old set.
Call of the Haunted.
Wow.
So I will go for, I guess, the Voltic Kong. I guess he's the biggest dude I've got. So, yeah, we'll get that.
That's a good one. Okay. Put that back in the deck. How you are just big fucking gunglers.
I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying.
All right. I am going to sack Leviathan Dragon for Parshath.
Sure.
I'm going to Snatch Steal.
2 Snatch Steals? Are you fucking me? All right, fine.
Guess I'm taking the Goblin Attack Force. I'll go to combat. We'll go Attack Force into Ape Fucker.
Okay, so I lose 4.
And then Parshath into the Voltic.
Yeah, this sucks. You get to draw here. Take 100.
Second main, I think I'm just good. You can go ahead.
Yikes. I'll gain 1,000 from Snatch Steal.
Yep.
That's pretty important, actually. I'll pass.
I'm gonna normal Archfiend Soldier here. Battle. We'll go 19.
I'll take the 19, then I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm going to Damage Gate.
Sure.
I'm going to bring back the Ape Fighter.
Okay. I'll try and get in with the Air Knight Parshath.
Do you have anything in Damage Step?
Yeah, I have Skill Successor.
I have Ego Boost.
That is on attack deck.
That is right. All right, I am fucked. I forgot. All right, cool. So take 4. You're going to draw. I basically lose the game at this point.
Second main, I'm going to activate Burden of the Mighty.
I hear that card's pretty good.
It's all right. I think it's kind of overblown.
Okay. Main 1. I get 1,000 from Snatch Steal. Really getting punished for not reading cards. Who would have thought? Neat. I'm going to Autonomous Action Unit.
That is a good one. Sure.
I will take your Mobius.
Sure.
Battle, I will hit your Parshath.
Mobius.
Oh, actually, that's 18. Hold on.
Yeah.
Burden of the Mighty.
Yeah.
I can ego boost and kill it. Doesn't matter, right? You can switch goblins back to attack next turn. You can kill over. I'm basically dead, but yeah, I'll just ego boost. Sure.
So this is 25, so I'm taking 9 here?
Yeah.
Sure. We'll go for another Archfiend Soldier. He's at 18.
So I am dead. Woo! All right, this is fun. Damn, I got my ass handed to me. Not necessarily by you, but for the fact I couldn't read like a typical Yu-Gi-Oh player. There's 3 separate instances where I lost to the fact that I didn't read what my cards do. Fantastic. So I'll go first. Now that I know what these cards do, I can at least somewhat better play around them. But knowing me, that's probably not going to be the case. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck to you too.
Draw. Starting off with Pot of Greed's never a bad thing,
nice,
right?
dude. Pot of Greed, swords. That's a decent
double Snatch Steal, buddy.
Okay,
I don't want to hear. You also have Pot of Greed. I saw you mill it off that card trooper. So yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna set a pair and throw it to you.
Stand by me. It's the same. I'm doing the exact same.
So I know you have that weird Nordic card. Could also be like Night Assailant, potentially. Let's flip this to Koichi first and draw a card.
Yep.
In case it is Night Assailant, I'm gonna go to battle and hit.
It is the Nordic.
Okay, so you get your tokens.
This is like a really ass dandelion.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for this sort of environment, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Second main. God, you have double Snatch Steal. That is so gross.
It's a little silly. I could have triple Snatch Steal.
For all I know, you have triple.
I'll just tell you right now, I don't. That'd be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I'll just set one and pass. Actually, I'm just gonna chill into Koichi.
Anything in standby?
Nope.
Mobius.
Yuck. Sure. I'll chain Skill Successor.
Okay. So Skill Successor is a really good card.
Yeah, and Dark World Shackles was the other.
I'm gonna go to battle. I'll get in for 6.
6 here. Yep. I'll trag.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should have probably seen that coming. I'll pass back to you.
Okay. The interesting thing about this format is how many battle tricks there are compared to like actual removal. So my trag is 36. That's pretty fucking massive.
Yep. What if it's 2 ego boost, you know?
Yeah, 2 ego boosts and 1 back row.
What if it's Magic Cylinder? Take that.
I'm going to try for it. Let's see what you got.
It's not Magic Cylinder. It is Prideful Roar.
Oh, excellent.
So I'll take 12
anyway.
here, and then he goes up to 38. Or 39.
39. Okay. So I'll take 3 from this. All right. Second main. I'm going to normal summon a Blizzard Dragon.
I've never read this card. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's not bad. I can target your Mobius, can't change his battle position or attack until the end of your next turn, at least. I will set a card, and I'll throw it to you.
Stand by me.
Yep.
Bait doll.
It's called a Haunted again.
Oh, my God. That's a decent one.
Yeah, I guess I get Trag here, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. I was like, is there any restriction on summoning this? I don't think so. All right,
okay,
cool.
So
I'll take a
Trag's
2400.
24?
Yeah.
Christ. That's pretty good.
Like, great. I'm going to Snatch Steal it.
God, I wish. Okay, no. I'm just going to go for Air Knight Parshath.
Yuck.
We'll draw the Snatch Steal. Wow.
All right, so I take 100 from this. You get to draw. Parshath's so fucking good, dude.
Not enough. Go ahead.
Draw. I'll go to battle.
Yeah.
Trag into Parshath.
I'm going to Cylinder here.
That's a big cylinder. Yuck. All right, so I'm going to take 3k from this.
Yeah.
Second main. I guess I'm going to Fisher off Parshath.
Sure.
I was trying to get 2 for 1 there, but it's not happening. We'll pass to get Snatch stolen and lethaled.
Oh, God, I wish. No, it's, Oh, that is strange. No, we'll just normal Card Trooper here.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, there's 1 Snatch, and you hit Treeborn.
Okay, combat. I will try and crash here.
Sure.
All right. And then we'll go direct for 19. Second Trag. All right, back to you.
Right, I wish. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay, my life's getting a bit low here, so I do need to be mindful of that. Well, actually, I'm about to make my life a lot lower. Autonomous Action Unit.
Jesus Christ. Yep.
I'm going to take Parshath.
That's fine.
Let's run out Voltic Kong.
Yeah, sure.
Battle Parshath.
I take 15 here.
We each draw.
Yeah.
And then Voltic Kong for 18, and you will mill 2 cards off the top of your deck because Parshath is a light.
Sure.
All right, well, Cylinder would have lost me the game immediately, so I feel okay about that. Second main, I'll set 2.
Oh, my God.
And hope to God I can somehow bring this back.
All right, we'll go Pot of Greed here. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yep.
Get this guy back. Woo. Wow, that is really not what I wanted to see. I'm going to send Frog to the grave for Vampire Lord.
Sure.
I'll try and get into the Parshath.
Attack deck, I have Ego Boost.
Man, that is really bad. Yeah, you got it. Oh.
Woo!
Couldn't find a removal.
Okay, I didn't think you meant the whole game, but all right, game 3.
You had so many crazy cards in your deck and you didn't see any of them and still won. Oh boy.
What can I say, buddy? You just gotta get good.
Okay, I will try my hardest. This is
Sure.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty. I mean, I opened mine last game. Fair.
Yeah. Let's go like this and pass it back.
I'll draw. 3 games in a row. Are you gonna set the Nordic thing? Probably. Again, it could also be Night Assailant. Could be something else entirely. Let's find out. Ape Fighter, get in there.
Ape fucker. This is crap. I have to Cylinder this.
Yuck. All right. I'll take 19 right out of the gate. That's not good. Second main, I have a back row. Over to you.
All right, I'll draw for turn. Stand by main. Bait Doll, the set card.
It is Enemy Controller.
Wow, that's really bad for me. Holy shit. Okay. I'll set a card. And I will pass turn.
Okay. I will draw main 1. All right, let's see what you're working with over here. Let's hit in.
All right, it is Tangnus here.
Okay. Get your tokens. That's fine. Second main. Ape Fighter goes to 22.
Yep.
Before I forget. Wow, this is tricky.
Yeah.
I'll just pass.
If you are representing Trag for the 3rd game in a row, I will shit. I'll flip summon Night Assailant.
Night Assailant. I imagine my Ape Fighter's not.
Yes! Oh, a normal Archfiend Soldier, maybe. Combat. I'll go Soldier in.
Trying to play around.
Yes!
I will take the 19.
2?
I'll take 2.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't think I'd get that far. You're good.
I'll draw.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I'm going to special summon Elector, Sovereign of Birds.
What the fuck is this card? Okay, sure. I got
If you have 2 or more monsters with the same attribute, I just get to run them out like Sidra, and then I get to target a monster, negate his effects for the turn.
I'm in.
Basically. Yeah, let's see where it gets us. I'll run out the goblins.
Wow. All right.
Battle, we'll put goblins into soldier.
I'll take 4.
Okay. And Elector into assailant.
Take 22.
Second main, I will throw it to you.
Okay. Okay. I am going to activate Snatch Steal targeting Elector.
Yeah. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. You can have him.
Okay. I will tribute summon Air Knight Parshath.
Yuck.
Combat. Parshath.
Sure. There is no way that's going to work. I have to econ your Parshath.
I'll Elector negate it.
I don't think it's a quick effect.
Oh, it's not. You're right. Oh, shit. Well, okay.
I will say, I didn't realize you could target cards and negate them, so that's pretty cool.
All right. That's fine.
I thought it was just monsters.
We'll go Elector in then.
All right, goblins down.
Back to you.
Please. Christ. All right, so I gained my 1,000 from Snatch Steal.
You do.
Which isn't bad. I'm definitely worried about some other things here, though. Let's try it. I'm going to autonomous your Archfiend soldier. I'm going to normal Dekoichi.
Sure.
Kill this.
Yeah.
Kill this.
Sure.
Second main Fisher Elector.
Wow.
And then set. Throw it to you.
Stand by me. Oh, what do I do if that's a combat trick? Cry? Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I just want to say for the fans watching, typically Joseph and I are just like fucking around like while we're playing these games and just having a great time. We have been in it. We've been silent almost through every interaction you guys are witnessing that's gotten cut out in post.
I'm having so much fun. I hate it.
I'm having so much fun just playing this because like I'm so deep in the tank. There's so many options with each turn. Fuck, this is such good Yu-Gi-Oh, dude.
I'm gonna normal Archfiend soldier.
Sure. This is so hard.
It is, yeah, it's very difficult. I'm going to Snatch Steal your soldier.
Second Snatch Steal. Fuck off. Yeah.
We'll try. I'll get in with a Snatch Stolen one.
So I'll take 5.
Okay, and we'll try again.
Take 19. I have to damage gate here, sadly.
Oh my god, that's a good one.
I mean, I wish I could get Elector back, but sadly, I didn't take enough damage for it. I guess I can get the Ape Fighter.
Ape fucker.
It's better than Dekoichi, so.
All right, second main, I'm gonna go...
Zenmeister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to you.
This goes off as well. I'm going to Swords, set 1 and pass.
One-time Mobius? No. I don't know. Go ahead.
Turn 1 on Swords. That one isn't terrible. I will run out Wind Up Soldier.
Sure.
Battle Ape Fighter.
It is Witch of the Black Forest.
Yuck.
I will grab Mobius.
And now we're fucked. Go ahead.
Stand by main. Boop. Wow, I'll eat these two.
It's Dark Bride.
Oh my god. Okay, Ape Fighter's a 22. Soldier is an 18. He can go to a 22. Okay, well, neither contest it, so I'll walk into Soldier.
Take 6. I'm on 5.
Second main. Go ahead.
Okay, there's 1 card in my deck.
Fucking pot of greed is what it is.
There's 1 card in my deck. That is not 1 card in my deck. Fuck. I will set. Ape Fighter will unfortunately get reset, and I will pass.
Oh, Alex. You literally are going to feel the unmatched battle prowess of Insect Knight. All right,
Hell
let's try for it.
I got Ego Boost.
I have Prideful Roar.
Fuck! Good game, buddy.
Oh my
Good
God.
game. Nothing I could have done about that.
Holy
shit. Your polls were nuts, dude.
My polls were
my
crazy,
God.
But I was shocked to see just how much good stuff is in these packs. My spell traps were out of this world, obviously. Snatch, Pot is kind of hard for anyone to contest. Your spell traps looked comparatively weak. You did find like Fissure and Pot and Swords, but God, your monsters. Elector is nuts.
Yeah, Elector is crazy. I was a bit iffy. I actually had it in the side in game 1 because I wasn't sure how often the restriction was going to be for this to be special summon. I guess you could tribute it if you have to.
Then suddenly it becomes really good.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's what I was thinking. Also, too, you did have a lot of common attributes with like Archfiend Soldier, Knight Assailant, and the like. So there was a decent amount of dark. So I felt pretty confident bringing him in once I saw that. But yeah, I do agree. Man, it's really tough. I feel like we both just had incredibly good polls, but for like different reasons, right? It's like I don't know if you had Trag, but I mean, I think Trag is just fucking unreal. Incredible.
I will say what I think is going on in this pack, and I think is honestly kind of a weakness of it compared to like Magic the Gathering's limited formats, is the set is so big. It's got 200 cards in it, and a lot of the stuff at high rarities is like game winners you can't possibly play around. So I think we're playing 30 card decks that, with the exception of like obvious must plays like Pot of Greed and stuff, we can't really play around anything, right?
No,
like the only things I can play around from you are the things I see in games 1 and 2. So like
exactly
past that position, I'm like, yeah, ego boost, yeah, you know, etc. And you're like, oh yeah, prideful roar. But because the set is so large, it's also possible you just don't pull any of these. And
right.
That, I think, makes for an environment that feels a little more sacky and a little less strategic, where, like, I can't, like, be playing cards because they have good interactions with, like, my opponent's stuff as much. Like, I would like to be able to know, like, what use Vampire Lord is in this format, but obviously I can't until I see your pool. And
exactly. It's funny, though, too, because we had varying different opinions about different cards. Because, like, I actually pulled Vampire Lord as well. I opted not to run him because I felt that most of the cards were actually just going to be helping in combat, and that's what Vampire Lord is weakest to.
Right.
And so, like, just me simply summoning a copy of Wind Up Soldier can take out a Vampire Lord. And so committing a 1 tribute to that, yeah, if you have, like, Treeborn, you don't really, like, commit many more resources to it.
Right.
I actually just opted not to play because I didn't think it was actually that good, since most of the other tributes beat over it, and then a lot of cards, either by themselves or with battle tricks, can just hit over Vampire Lord regardless. So it's not really going to get a ton of value because there isn't, like, a ton of targeted removal in this type of product, at least from what we were able to see. And then it's also weak to, like, Snatch Steal and the stuff and the like as well.
I pulled 2 and I ended up playing 1 after boarding. The theory behind the deck is I'm just playing Monarch. Tang Nisur is incredible for tributing. Witch of the Black Forest I pulled 2 of, and it searches the whole deck.
Wow.
You've got some stupid, silly garbage like Shield Warrior that's like almost negate attack, and all of the battle traps in the set, even if they don't help you win combat, they fade an attack step, which means you get a Monarch.
Yes.
I just wish I'd pulled a better one than a Vampire Lord for slots 2 and 3. Mobius is crazy. Parshath is crazy. Past that, it's kind of mid.
Elector would have been nice for you.
Would have,
for sure.
I would have killed for this.
My deck didn't really have like that much of a cohesive strategy to it, aside from just like good stuff. Because I didn't really get
beefy guys. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just trying to play the largest guys that I could that didn't really have like a huge investment to play them. I even pulled stuff like Chainsaw Insect, but I opted against it because you getting too many card draws, I felt like is not worth it. Goblin Attack Force, I was almost treating just like a removal spell, and if it stuck around, like so be it. I guess it had like synergy with swords or something like that. But I'll just mill out my deck so you can see it. I'd be curious to see yours as well.
There is one change from the board here, which is I think I cut one of the Vampire Lords for, it wasn't the Burden's in main. Oh, for the Needle Sealing. I don't think Needle Sealing is great, but I think I can play so that it is more effective against you than it is against me. And it's almost always on because I'm on like Treeborn and the Tang Nisurs, which have the tokens and stuff.
I don't know about you. I actually played almost every spell and trap card that I pulled in my polls.
Almost the exact same. It was actually shocking to see how little chaff was there. Like, we pulled 50 cards, and I wanted to play 46 of them. Like, I think the obvious... Let me actually check my full pool. I did pull a couple of things that were hot ass. But a couple of things...
I pulled, like, Superconductor Tyranno.
Whoa,
that was one of my
crazy
hot-ass cards.
In Junior Journey. There was... it's just hard to really judge if a card is good or not. For instance, I had, like, Dark Magician of Chaos, and I couldn't tell if that was good or not. I had Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, and I was like, oh, that's kind of removal with Big Bang Shot, but... and then I pulled Thebian Nightmare, which is a build-around that this does not teach you how to build around.
Right. And I think Dark Magician of Chaos may have been a little bit better for my pool, just because I pulled Call of the Haunted, the
Change
Damage
of
Gate
Heart.
technically. I just like had a better pool that sort of facilitated. I mean, you had Snatch
Jinzo.
Steal, so
Holy shit.
I didn't even talk about. I had it in my hand game too, but I didn't have to summon it. Yeah, I pulled Jinzo, and I think my last pack or second to last pack or something.
Oh, this
and
is...
you know, talk about blowouts. I mean, Jinzo is definitely one of them for sure.
Whoa, your pool's kind of good. Liberty at Last is crazy. Skill Successor, I think, is really good. I like Doom Caliber Knight, but it might be bad in this format if I'm just like, okay, cool, Wind Up Soldier effect, and you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. There's obviously applications where Doom Cal's a bit iffy, but I mean, compared to the rest of my like the next best card over Doom Cal was going to be like Abyssal King Shark or something. So I don't know. I wanted to play just the biggest dudes that I could that had almost zero downside to them.
Really low monster count. That's incredible.
How many monsters were you playing?
Oh, I'm playing like 18.
Okay. So I actually
like, you just die if you don't find monsters.
I was playing like 14 or 15 because I was scaling the ratios to like what we play for like regular Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And I think that may have necessarily not been correct just because like you said, there were times, especially game 1, where I just like felt like I didn't have any monsters to work with.
It's like how in
like you said
in Prague variants, you want to play like 25 monsters because it like you just can't not find them.
No, that's a fair point. And maybe I guess like I felt like the rest of my monsters weren't very good. I pulled cards like Foxfire, which isn't like that great. Like I said, Abyssal King Shark. I pulled just some other just very lackluster I pulled a lot of tributes. Like I think for your deck, you would have liked. I pulled Dark Dust Spirit.
Oh yeah.
I pulled Jinzo. Like I said, I pulled Dark Ruler Hades as well, which is like fine,
decent,
but like it just loses to every combat trick, which is why I was against it so much. So I just figured if I just play a low, to the ground beatdown deck that isn't trying to like just overcommit all that much, then that's sort of where I felt that my pulls landed. But I mean, this was a blast. I mean, the fact that we just had so much decision making between the two of us, like we were in it. I don't feel like we've been like in it in a game of like history in like months. And not just because we're not trying to be, but I think sort of like this is what the format like lended itself to because we had so many varying options. And I think when people always harken back to old Yu-Gi-Oh being so much fun, I think this episode exemplifies why that is. Yes, there were newer cards, but the sort of old dynamic of mishmashing some of the best cards you had access to and building a deck, that to me is like what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is like my favorite form of the game in like its purest state. So I don't know about you, but like I could play this shit all day, every day.
Oh yeah, no, I mean Battle Pack 3 is one of my favorite formats of all time. I think I love limited formats in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, obviously you are like the person who pioneered a limited series for Yu-Gi-Oh! But it really, man, it really is something. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometime in like 2013, 2014, between like when Abyss Rising comes out and the Dragon Rulers are released, yes, there are strategic decisions being made, but a lot of the thought process you see is going into stuff that happens before the event, like metagaming, deck building, and then a lot of the games themselves, and this is true to this day, honestly play out, I mean, not on autopilot, but you can get pretty far autopiloting, right? Like, your combo lines, you execute them, your opponent does have points of interaction, and if one of you is on a control deck, it's, interesting in that regard. But you really don't get, like you said, you just don't get in it the way you get into old Yu-Gi-Oh! You're not in the tank as deep, playing such bad cards, honestly. And, man, I really appreciated the opportunity to do that. I'm so glad we did this.
That's going to wrap it up for another episode. Let's go ahead and shout out the patrons as always. A big shout to Shout1317, Moto, Cameron Smith, Tim00x3, Ian Musa, Chaotic People, SJ Winchester, Part 2, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hoban, MBT Play Medolce, Synchro Guy, Ole, Yusuf Asin 05, Mystic Walk, I Ship MBT and CMO, Draconic Rockslide, Logan, Thomas, Peter, Gregory, Thomas Selson, Jordan Coons, Kelvin, Iron Blades, Imperious, Jesse True Orgasm, Brother, Paul, Chris, So David Lou, Skyros, Dylan Hunter, John Two Base, Extremely Vulgar Man, Brody Eastwood, Day Sir, Carlos DT, Flannel Daddy, Hornet, Give Me Speed Warrior, Give Me Death, Jonah Messenger, oh my god, guys, please read your cards, CC Gaming, thanks for the sleeves, Dad, Matthew Brady, Dyer the Egyptian Editor, Max Tom Russell, why read your cards when you can just click buttons, Ben Snatch Shield for Prague 2021, Helios 515, Paint French Girls like one of your MBTs, Black Acre, Say Gage Gang Engage 3 times fast, the entire state of Indiana, D's Cards, MBT fans gaming more than COVID, Simping for Simo, Mark Jackson, Tyler H, Justice for Queen Tiramisu, and Simo's harem of sexy Yugi tubers. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you next time.